Alright, just doing a bit of knowledge here about kadmon. This kadmon thing, right? As you can see from this original man or heavenly man, right? Being born in the image of God and no participation in any corruptible or earthly essence, whereas the earthly man is made of loose material called a lump of clay. Right? So, as you can read from this is basically about the difference between being a trans and a natural man, like, right? She is neither man nor woman, but an incorporeal intelligence, purely an idea. Right? So, not according to this the thing, like in Judaism, of course. Kabbalah, say the kadmon or quadmon, say the quad, the four, right? Four, and the the Dalits, right? But the card, if you remember, we call it caduceus, the card, right? Obviously something to do with it. And the supreme man, if you remember that video I showed that Freemason talking about being a superior man and the high man and all this type of thing. See, so you can see it's like totally. There's a bit more four, so they like the four idea of the Dalit, right? What's four is supposed to be the gateway to God, right? So when you're 44, it's like two gates, which is the Janus idea and all that, see? And the God's infinite light. It's to do with taking the hormones and contraction and taking away the needle or something. But interesting, this one's supposed to be not the same as the physical Adam Harishan, which is supposed to be like the Adam, which is out of Adam and Eve in the Bible. So it's supposed to be a different one, like an extra bit of teachings on the Judaism version, anthropomorphic mythic symbols to metaphorically describe manifestations of God in Judaism. Of course, very much, where you type of thing where I'm studying in these knowledges, the whole basis of the Freemasonry, that, mythic, metaphorical symbols and that, right? The divine light without vessels and blood vessels, pure potential, and the Yechida, some more like Welsh, the soul. Four worlds and a Seder. Chain like descent. As you can see, a lot of weird stuff in this one. Philo, the original man. Philo and the eunuch. So the Logos. A lot of a lot of studying this stuff, like a lot of things worth looking at into, like. But the fact that like the kadmon, like the caduceus, is very interesting. Like the cad and the quad, and the caduceus. Of course, Adam was created as a man-woman. So, this is obviously a bit of extra teachings or a bit of secret teachings in the sort of Talmud version that they never published into the sort of normal version. Of course, this is like a bit more explanation of it, like, in it. Instead of man and woman, that's exactly what I was talking about in one of the videos. Instead of he created the man and woman, he created the man and woman, he created the trans, basically. And this is basically reinforcing that, like. There's a bit of Janus there behind, looking behind and that, looking forward and looking behind. It's a total load of good in this. Ten concentric circles, Igulin, which emanated from the rear. And the rear, like that reminds me of rear guns in science fiction movies. When you have a rear gun, it's in there. It's a syringe metaphor, see? The rear gun, and that's why it had there. Ronald Reagan is the president in America, around about 19. Yeah, because he was an actor first in 50s movies, and he was in a science fiction movie, see? And then when he became president of the United States, he was in charge of the Star Wars program, so they had a rear gun, Ronald Reagan. So as you can see, like a load of codes in this. Zim zum. Then you have Cadmus, right? Mythical Phoenician Hebrew, again, a phoenix, like the bird of, it's the trans bird basically. The card again, the caduceus idea. And the founder of Thebes with a TH. THBs. The total, what do you call it here, coded type of idea. But this is what's interesting about this one. Semitic kadmon, right? Kadmon. This kadmon, right, signifies the east. Kadmon, yeah. There's an interesting code there. So see, I'll code in this, right? Obviously a bit of a 7, well, 2 spikes, 2 needles. Loads of needles all over that, right? East. And fourth, like again, 4, right? And again, like 2 dollars idea on that. And look at the foot. You have a back 4 in football, right? A back 4. And this means to come, to be in front. Yeah. Kedem means front, east in ancient times, to be in front. To shine, so it's obviously, just basically means to be a mason, basically, right? He who excels or from the east. He who advances, of course, and of antiquity, see, all the Masonic codes. Of course, they're always in front and excel because it's totally corrupt, It's totally corrupt and favours them and all that. That's how to win and all that and be in front all the time and all that, see. And yeah, Samurf race, TH race and the Mezu, and stuff like that. Zeus. Interesting how that King George III, like Zeus is meant to be a derivative of the George name. Said all them Georges in not the line of British kings. Cadmus. The great gods, like the George name type of thing, see? So it's something to do with the George idea, and of. The Samworth race, plenty of THs all over. Silix. Abducted Europa. Very coded. Pelagon. And the sport toy. You know, the traps. You know, the Spartans, the traps and trans, he has a sport toy. Yeah, traps, sewing needles, sewing the dragon's teeth. So of course needles ideas again. 4 and 6, Newry Dyke. Of course that's the same as the two volcano. Got a blacksmith, Vulcan, and Hep 7. So there you go. Caduceus and Serpent again. The Nile, the line. You can see how the George name it. Something to do with Zeus. Again, the idea of slaying the dragon with a long spear or sword. Yeah, to do with injecting the hormones and that. Of course, horseback because it's the hormone will come out the horse. Yeah, he has his origins in Zeus, Georgios. Zeus venerated in the ancient Athens. See what I mean? It's like of course Greek, basically Freemasonic stuff anyway, right? But the Zeus basically coming from the George type of thing, right? Of course George is a long line of British, English kings or whatever. And then became a very popular name in Greek then, in Greece, modern Greece. Georgios means farmer. So you have the geo idea as well, like the geography. The geo. Of course, George Washington. I always remember that video by Dave Johnson, where he said that George III and George Washington were the same person, and all that. So you know what I mean? It makes sense that they just invent, like the odd monarch, see, to make it seem like there's been a lot more monarchs than what there has been, see. So they're sticking up with the fake ones, along with a couple of the real ones, so you can make it look like there's been this long, very long timeline and lineage of all different monarchs and that, right? Like the Henry VIII one, to me, looks totally coded, totally made up. Henry Tudor, basically the Janus, the Dalits. And it's like a Zeus god idea, Henry Tudor and all that. The Dalit is the fourth, plenty of four in that code before. Represent a poor person, right? Basically when like a rich, like a royal, take a poor person into their program, see? It's basically referring to that type of thing, right? John Daly, Janus Dalit. The Janus team. Of course, the two-door idea, the two doors, the two Dalits. Of course, Henry VIII, 2 doors, 2 fours, 2 Dalits equals 8. And they're best known for 6 hex marriages. So newer marriages, pure sort of god idea, you know what I mean? Of course, the Janus, the Janus idea. God of time, duality, doorways, everything type of thing, frame ups, everything, The composite god, like Henry Tudor,